Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And in this video, we're going to talk about Extraction. It's a movie that's on Netflix. It stars Chris Hemsworth. I wanted to say Thor and Chris at the same time, and my brain didn't know how to, separate the two.
Honestly, there is a lot of moments in this movie where I'm just like, he's Thor.
It's Thor, but modern time. All he needs is a hammer. It's a shame that I don't think I saw him pick up a hammer of any sort. In this movie.
Well, did he? I'd have to go back and see some of those fights.
He picked up other various things, but we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. There's not going to be any spoilers, but this is a movie that was produced by the Russo Brothers. The screenplay is actually written by Joe Russo, and it's directed by Sam Hargrove. And what I really thought was interesting was, the storyline's pretty... I don't want to say basic, but we've seen it before, right?
Yeah, there's no...
Black market mercenary hired to rescue a kid who's been kidnapped, and who happens to be the son of an international drug lord or crime lord who happens to be in jail. Mm-hmm. So there is a lot of, high risk in this mission. There's a lot of violence.
And also dealing with a lot of bad people.
Yes.
They really do have that, is that generic bad guy in your stereotypical action movies.
Yeah.
So you don't have to see it like an actual face. Most of the bad guys have masks and goggles and helmets on, so you can't really see the actual person. You just think of them as, they're a bad guy.
Right.
So but however, that's actually something that I really did like about this movie, is the fact that it had a lot of really good action. I'd have to say that is the defining thing about
our favorite
this
thing
movie.
about the movie.
Even though the story, there's nothing really wrong with the storyline.
No, it's just we've seen it before. It's not super unique, but the way they told it and the way they created the action and the stunt scenes and how it's filmed is quite different and really impressive, honestly.
Yes, I loved what they some of the things that they did in here. I don't like that style, but they did pull it off quite well.
Yes.
Some of the shots that they have are a lot of following the action and shaky cam, because I know when I saw it in the very first Bourne Identity movie, I really did not like it, but that was I liked the style and what they were trying to do.
I have a thought. So
but I thought that the shaky cam was a little too much. In this, however, they kind of still did the following, and there was still a little bit of shaky cam, but it wasn't enough to make me during the movie. I thought they pulled off that technique and that style very well in this movie.
I'm really happy you brought up Bourne Identity, because that was kind of the same issue I had with that first one. It's so good. The fight scene is excellent in it. But for me personally, and this is obviously all personal preference.
Yeah, I know some people love
the shaky
style.
cam, and maybe it's just because I get a little sicky when I watch especially on the big screen. It's not so bad on a smaller screen at home.
Yeah.
But when you're in the movies and you're just I can't. You don't know where to look because you don't want to miss anything. But one of the things that I really enjoy about fight scenes is when they do a master shot or a wide shot.
Yes.
You can see everything, and if you have a DP who understands the fight scene, if you have a fight choreographer who understands how it's going to work for camera, and they create an entire fight viz based on the angles of the camera, that's where in relativity of where the camera is to the scene and how the punches are going to land, that creates you can hide things later in a pickup shot.
Yes.
An insert. But if you can film it all in master, it looks just really, really awesome. And I think the Russo brothers, and Sam Hargrove, who directed this movie, they really understood the fight needed to be shot in more of wide, so you can see most of the actor and not just close up, just punching.
I guess that is also something really good about Chris Hemsworth too, is because he has lots of experience in this.
I mean, years now. I don't know how many years he's played Thor amongst other action films, but this is. I want to say. I mean, I haven't seen all of Chris's films, so I guess I can't say. But this film really made me look at him and go, "Yes, I'm ready to see him in more things than just Thor."
Yes.
I mean, I'm
true.
not complaining. I'm not saying he should be done with Thor. He could play
Give
Thor
us as much Thor
forever.
As you want, Chris.
Please do. But this is a very nitty gritty movie where the violence, I wouldn't say it's as graphic as John Wick, but it has a lot of the John Wick elements. You talk about, there's inspirations of the kung fu that we see in John Wick, very clean action, very a little bit of shaky cam. And what what was the most impressive thing is we have this entire storyline of Chris Hemsworth being this mercenary, and they let you know in the very beginning that he's one of those guys that's just like seen too much, been through too much.
Yeah.
He really isn't just like motivated by anything. So essentially, he doesn't feel like he has anything to lose, and that makes him fearless, and that makes him dangerous, because he's like, well, I've really got nothing to lose, and he treats this at first as a job.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said in the comments of our trailer reaction that this is going to be kind of like a lone wolf and the cub type of a deal.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit of that, but there's also a little bit more, because like you said, almost everybody, you know, is looking out for themselves. So aside from the father who wants to get his kid back, I would say Chris Hemsworth is one of the ones that, and the other guy, oh God, I forgot his name already. The guy that worked for the kid, dad. I would say those two have like some of the best arcs.
Yes.
Because they kind of have a little bit of like not a change of heart, but you know, character development. But most of the movie is once Chris Hemsworth decides that, you know, yeah, let's go do this, I'll get the kid out, and you see how good he is. And then that's when things take a really interesting turn. Even though the storyline for this movie, I would say the plot is pretty, like, formulaic and something we've seen before, there are some unexpected twists that we kind of went, oh, and that's what makes it a little bit more interesting. But I think the main takeaway for the both of us, aside from the story, is the action, specifically one continuous take,
or at least making it
making it look like, in the sense of, and it's a long one. I didn't expect it to be that long, and it's full on action, almost like
the car chase scene.
I kind of don't want to compare it to 1917, because that's a whole different
and there's also other action movies that have done the one shot. But I think the way that they connected their shots too,
it's really
and
different.
Choreographed each of the movements that they were like planning.
Right.
The whole, like, it's not just little snippets that they're constantly throwing in there.
So the reason why I kind of wanted to compare it to 1917 is because 1917, even though it's its own caliber, I mean, obviously it's fantastic, and what I'm saying is, like, this one shot in Extraction is similar to how 1917 used the one shot to tell all of its story. So it used it to tell several scenes, as opposed to a one shot like in Oldboy or in the Daredevil hallway scene. That was one action fight scene, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of wanted to say it kind of had more similarity to a 1917, because it told more of a story, because it wasn't just a single fight scene in some sort of a space. It was, they traveled, they were going down streets, like you were saying.
Yeah.
There's a chasing, and it wasn't just like, let's just follow this car. No, they were in one car, and then they were in Chris's car, and then they got out of Chris's car, all while they were moving. I don't know how the camera did this. I really want them to do like a behind the scenes on that specifically. It's so good. And
they had this one time where it kind of like starts in where you see the car, but then it comes out, and then the camera like panned while this car moved, and then they moved into someplace else, and I
don't know how they did it.
I was like, how are they getting these shots? These are really well done,
and it was steady too. Like when we were saying shaking, that wasn't really of the shaking part. I would say the shakiness came when the camera person was kind of like literally like on Chris's face as he was fighting and kind of trying to move around to capture the fight. But what I liked about it is it captured the intensity of the car chase.
Yes.
The urgency of the situation, because they're trying to get the kid out, and how hard Chris had to how hard he had to fight to and it's just him versus like multiple guys to get out of this. And another thing that I liked is I don't like these more like realistic movies where the hero comes out unscathed. And Chris Hemsworth definitely gets his like ass handed to him.
He gets
in
beat
several
up.
Scenes. Yeah, he's like very, very bloody, even after just the first fight scene, and that makes it a little bit more realistic. And I really just appreciate how hard everybody in front of the camera and everybody behind the camera worked for that continuous scene, because it takes a lot of planning, rehearsal, everybody's timing has to be right, because if one person's off, you could throw the entire sequence off. And can you imagine the reset on that? They're like, sorry, you gotta reset, go back to one, because this car wasn't there, and you're just like, the money, the time, we're on golden hour, you know.
Get going.
Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed the movie a lot more than I expected. It's quite action-packed. I will say sometimes the scenes seemed to lull a little bit when the action wasn't there.
Yeah.
A little bit, but not too much, because they really balanced it out between like a scene and action. Like they didn't really leave you hanging, just like, you know, characters sitting talking, characters standing talking for too long. It was a lot of action, and I loved how it played out at the end. So yeah, I would say, I don't even know if we should rate this movie because we're seeing it at home, huh?
Well, true. I think it's worth checking out. I mean,
Yes,
I think this is
I would say so.
a really good action movie. I think this is also one of those movies that actually would have been really cool to have seen in the theaters.
Yeah.
Some of these action scenes are just so well done, and they have each little genre that they have of action scenes. It's filmed very differently and just very well at the same time. To where you had the fight scene that there was a couple guys in a building with Chris Hemsworth, and he's just taking them all down. And the way it moved and panned to the car chase scene, to the gun shootout, the different shootouts that they had.
Several.
All of them were just captured and choreographed and just orchestrated brilliantly well. I do have to say that in the story, there are a lot of times where you're like, okay, we get the scene, we get the idea, move along. Nothing to see here. But overall, they didn't last that long.
Yeah.
And I think this movie is just really good to just sit down with some popcorn and watch.
Yeah, it's a fun watch. I'm glad we watched it. And let us know what you guys thought of Extraction if you've happened to catch it on Netflix. So go ahead and let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one.